Oh no, the US Iran ceasefire agreement has expired and negotiations are still stuck. What does this mean for the commodity markets? No more guessing games. For I, Anuj Choudhary, am here to take you through this week's commodity forecast. In today's video, we will be zeroing into crude oil and copper in terms of resistance and support figures for this week. And it's also time to look at just what's happening in the global markets. Let's get started. So, what's up with crude oil? Well, the prices certainly, but will this last? Surprise, surprise. The price indicator this week is bearish. It opened last week at 7,540 and went right up to 8,075 in the first half of the week. What a start, honestly. But then it began to consolidate and ultimately closed 6.01% higher at 7,870. What do you think this pullback means? Simple. Crude oil is now looking stretched. The RSI has started to inch lower despite prices going up. As I speak, it's hovering somewhere around the 20-week exponential moving average. So, for this week, we are expecting crude oil to trade with a slightly negative bias in the short term. It may find initial support on the downside at 7,534 and strong support at 7,168. However, resistance can be seen at 8,075 and 8,266. Time to move on to copper. Is it still as bullish as it has been for the last few weeks? In a nutshell, yes. It opened last week at 1366.45 and touched a high of 1386.65, that too in the first half of the week. That's some momentum, I must say. However, prices consolidated and touched a low of 1357.55 towards the end of the week and closed 0.94% higher week on week at 1378.30. The RSI is only rising further, indicating further more strength. So, what's your take on it? We expect copper to trade with a positive bias in the medium term. Initial resistance may be seen at 1450 and strong resistance at 1510. However, supports may be seen at the previous week's low of 1357.55 and strong support at 1330. A sustained close below the same may lead to a trend reversal. You might ask, what happened to gold and silver? Good question. Gold rose by only 0.2% week on week. So much for the hype. However, in comparison, silver rose 1.47% week on week. The gold silver ratio dipped by 1.25%. Base metals, except for zinc, continued to be lacklustre. On the whole, this hasn't been a sensational week for metals. For this week's watch list, there is ADP weekly employment change, initial jobless claims, and S&P Global Eurozone Manufacturing PMI. So, that was this week's commodity forecast. What is your take on gold and crude oil prices trending on the charts? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Wish to access more insights on commodities and markets? Why don't you join the official WhatsApp channel of our research center today? Just click on the link in the description to get started. Thank you for watching. Hope we find some good news this week.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.